Hey guys, welcome back to Witch Baby Wednesdays. Today we're continuing our series, almost finished, on the 7 Hermetic Principles. Today we are doing the principle of cause and effect. If you want to know more about that, how to apply it to your own life and magical practice, then keep watching this video.
One day I'll be a queen with a kingdom all for me, and I'll cherish everything as I drop to my knees, cause I know how dark it could be.
Hey guys, Darian here from Darian Empire. Welcome back. If you are new here, welcome. Make sure you subscribe if you like this video and hit that bell for notifications. Also, be sure to follow me at Darian Empire on Facebook and Instagram, and check out my website, darianempire.com, where I am selling all sorts of courses and coaching, and you can book a reading with me. Stick around to the end of this video because I will be doing a tarot reading from the Shadowscapes Tarot. It's a beautiful gift that I received from one of my clients/followers, and I've been loving this deck, so stick around for that. Okay, so let's get into the video. Let me read straight from the Kabbalion here. Every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. Everything happens according to law. Chance is but a name for law not recognized. There are many planes of causation, but nothing escapes the law. So, you know, everybody kind of knows the law of cause and effect, but I think when it comes down to science, we somehow just think that it has to do with weird scientific things and it doesn't actually have to do with everything in life. But it is everything in life. So everything is mathematical in that sense. Everything has to have a cause in order to create an effect. Everything in life, what exists today, is a domino effect from ancient times. And each and every event that occurred influenced another being, which influenced more thought processes, which influenced more expansion, and the process goes on and on and on. It really has a lot to do with this whole life, birth, death, transformation, and rebirth. And that really affects how that affects people on so many levels, not just the physical level, the mental level, a spiritual level, and many, many planes beyond, right? So before I even hopped on this video, I was thinking about what I was going to talk about here, and I said it's so cool to know, it makes me feel so deeply connected to every civilization that's ever existed, because it's so beautiful to know that there is still a speck of dust floating around, maybe around me, around all over the globe, where from ancient Egypt, right? Or there's still a speck of dust from times before us, and we are but whispers of our ancestors, right? I thought that was really beautiful, and as I started to think about that, I've been connected with Isis recently, but just those ancient Egyptians came through and kind of spoke and said, hey, we're still causing through you. We're still creating through you. We're still causing future things to happen. It's really an eternal process, and we're all in this together. Whether we are here in the physical world or not, we are all collectively causing the expansion of the world, right? So, it just makes you think about so many things. It makes you, for me personally, it makes me feel so connected to my ancestors, to their ancestors, to even just acquaintances and the ancestors of my acquaintances and the ancestors of all of you. And, if some of them hadn't made certain mistakes and had certain victories, then none of us would be here, right? And so the fact that it happened exactly the way it happened is the only way that we could be here now in this timeline, in this existence, on this dimension, at this very moment in time, in this very moment of awareness. right? And I could choose in an instant to have a new level of awareness and perceive a new timeline or perceive a new world, really just a new perception. And that will cause another chain reaction. Now, that and even focusing on that can cause an entirely new timeline, right? So a timeline switch is like, essentially you move in and out of patterns, right? And if you like a quantum leap would be sort of like a timeline switch where you just drop old patterns and you move into something new. So you drop old thought processes and move on to something new. And so all of those little tiny minuscule decisions that we make every single day in our own personal lives are affecting the world for eons upon eons upon eons, right? Every single choice that we make, it affects, so the things that I am doing today and the things that all of us are doing today will affect our children, and it will affect our lives on a very personal level, but it also will affect all of the people whose lives we affect, and will have a domino effect, but it will affect our children and their children and their children and their children's children and their children's children's children. And a whisper of you will still exist eons down the road, which is so magical and makes me feel so connected to the entire world, to the all, to the whole, to source, to everything, which is source, right? It makes me feel connected to the divisions of source, the many, many divisions of source, or the many, many perceived divisions of source. And it makes me feel like everything is mathematical and that this is all perfection. I mean, it proves that everything in the universe is absolute perfection, because nothing is outside of this law. It is law. As it says, there's no such thing as chance, and chance is just a name you call for someone who doesn't recognize that law is law, but law is law, and that's it, you know? So how do we sort of apply that to our own lives? It's important to know that we are the cause of every one of our own experiences of our lives. We cause everything. Now, that doesn't mean I cause people to do certain things or whatever. It doesn't necessarily mean that. You can influence people to change their behavior, abso-freaking-lutely. But that's more about your experience of those people, right? So who those people are when you're not around has nothing to do with you. Who those people are when they're in your presence has everything to do with you. Or rather, how you experience who those people are while they're in your presence has everything to do with you. So the law and the principle of causation is one of the most important principles that I have used for probably the last 9 years or so, where anytime something, for me, I've turned it into a practice where anytime something negative happens, and I'll do this when it's positive too, but I try to remind myself to do it when it's negative so that I can shift my mindset. Anytime something negative happens, and I'm witnessing it in the physical world, you know, maybe my child is acting out or acting in a way that I would prefer her not to, or maybe there's traffic outside, or, you know, whatever. Something's not necessarily going my way. I notice it's not going my way because I feel bad, right? Like that's my first indicator that something is occurring right now in my own existence. I call this our kingdom. This is why the name of my channel and my business and all of this is Darien Empire, because each of us rule our own kingdom or queendom, whatever you want to call it. And that is your experience of the world. That's your experience of everything, yourself, in and out, internal, external, all of it. and your relationships, right? You are the cause of every single one of those. And you could twist it up in your mind and say, well, it takes two to tango when it comes to relationships. Yes, that's true. And you have zero power over the other tangoer, the dance partner. You have zero power over how they choose to think and feel about the relationship. And you have 100% power on how you choose to think and feel and create and cause the effects of that relationship. So don't get it twisted up in your mind that you need that other person. I think we get really caught up in trying to get the other person to be what we think they need to be to make the relationship better. Well, just let's all stay on our side of the street and clean up our own side of the street, because the only power we have is to change the way we experience that person, that relationship, ourselves, and how we choose to think about that. So when something occurs that is unwanted for me, I'm having a negative feeling, that's my intuition telling me, hey, you're thinking a thought that is creating this, right? So before I even think about any of that, I feel bad, I see something happen I don't want to happen, and I say, usually out loud, I created this. I created this. And then I'll go on to say to myself, I created this based off of the thoughts, feelings, and expectations that I have about this particular thing. Now, a lot of times you're just running on autopilot and you don't even realize that your thoughts, feelings, and expectations are not working for your benefit. So, something as simple as traffic, like, when it's rush hour, you automatically implement within yourself the expectation without even thinking of there going to be traffic, right? But that's a belief. You can sit and argue and say, well, there is traffic. It happens all the time. Well, why does it happen? It doesn't happen by chance. Who causes it? Who causes it? If the universe is mental, as we described and talked about in the first principle here, then all cause begins where? In the mind. All cause begins in the mind, right? So everything in your life is the effect of you, the cause. You, your thoughts, your mindset, your feelings, your expectations, your beliefs, which are easily changed if you just start to look at them, right? So this is an incredible practice for really just everyday life. I created this. And then a lot of times I'll kind of ask, okay, I created this. Why would I create this? Why would I do that? And you're only doing it out of habit. You're only doing it because you have this habitual autopilot thought that says, oh, it's rush hour. That must mean that it's traffic. That's just a thought. Those are just thoughts. You can say, okay, well, do I want this to occur? Do I want to be the cause of traffic? No, I want to be the cause of no traffic, of an easy flow of my traveling. And so in order to be the cause of ease and flow in traveling, what do you have to do? You have to think thoughts and feel vibrations of ease and flow in traveling. That's basically the key to life right there. That's how I use my magic all day, every day. All day I am shifting reality. All freaking day I am shifting reality. I am experiencing what I don't want, and I'm willing new things that I do want to occur, because I know that I am the cause of every single thing in my life. Now let me even go deeper. My current vibration is the cause of everything that's happening in my life. My current vibration. And you could give yourself a little break, and there is a little lag time when it comes to manifesting things. So you can give yourself a little break, and you can, Louise Hay used to say, everything that's occurring now is the result of a thought that I had in the past. But the truth is, you're still vibrating with that thought, and that's why it's occurring. But you can say that and to kind of give yourself a little break. It does ease the mind a little bit. It does ease some stress levels a little bit if you're like, okay, this is just the result of a thought that I had. It could even be a thought you had 5 minutes ago. This is the result of a thought I had 5 minutes ago. So if I think new thoughts, it's going to take a few minutes, maybe even longer. But usually it only takes a few minutes if you do it, if you really believe it's going to happen and you just set in stone and let it go. But, this will take a few minutes. So you just got to give yourself that, you got to have that patience of, I just really just have to wait a few minutes. I don't have to wait that long, right? I just have to wait a little bit. And sometimes it seems like you have to wait longer, but you really don't. Today I was dressing my 3-year-old, and she wants to play and she wants to do things. She wants to play games with me while I'm trying to dress her, and I'm like, it's every day we do this, and I'm like, we gotta go. And so what I was doing in my mind, as she was not coming over to me to change her clothes, I was saying in my mind, I had that moment where I was like, okay, I'm creating this because this is a habit of thought. We do this every day. And I just keep recreating it, you know what I mean? And so I just said in my mind, I will you to come here and get dressed. I said that in my mind to my daughter. I said, Meadow, I will you to come here and get dressed. And I felt that. I aligned with that. And what did she do? She kind of went like this and then went and just walked over. I didn't say one word to her. Just in my mind and with my energy, I aligned with the words that I said, which were, Meadow, I will you to come here and get dressed. I sort of envisioned it at the same time. It doesn't take a lot of effort to do that kind of stuff. When you get used to it, I don't even think you need to really get used to it. I think people think that they have to be like masters at visualization, and it helps to be clear. It helps to gain clarity. Meditation obviously helps you with that, but it's not as difficult. It doesn't take as much practice for as long as I think people think to really become manifestors, to become really good at this stuff. So that for me is one of the best, but also just knowing that if you're doing spell work, I think just the basis of knowing that every bit of spell work causes something to occur. It has to, based off of the law of cause and effect. Now, don't forget that you are the magician. So whatever energy and vibration you bring to that spell work, do you really believe the spell work? Do you really believe what you're doing? Or do you not believe? Because if you don't believe, you're gonna cause something to occur that's just gonna prove your belief that you don't believe. But what's beautiful about that is you're gonna maybe try to do a spell and make a mistake where it's not gonna work. And it's going to cause you to go back to the drawing board. And it is going to shift the way you think, right? So sometimes, like I've been studying, I read The Secret when I was 21 years old. That was 13 years ago, So, and I have not stopped studying any of that. Immediately after I read The Secret, I read The Secret Things of God. And I started reading the Bible, and I started getting more into spirituality. And then I started reading more books on the law of attraction. And then I started reading A Course in Miracles, and I started getting into the light worker stuff. I read the Tao Te Ching. I started, all this sort of spiritual stuff. And I studied a lot of law of attraction, all the people from The Secret, I would go to their seminars, and all these motivational speakers, and read their books, and books on manifesting, and books on spirituality, and eventually came to Witchcraft. All of that is because one book would lead me one way, and then I would kind of hit like a brick wall. And then that would cause me to go somewhere else, and that would cause me to go here. And cause and effect, it's the compilation of who all of us are, who we become, and the eternal becoming of us all. It's beautiful. It's a really beautiful thing. It's life, right? So I think that this law is something that, other than the exercise that I taught you that is so important, just trust me, you will change your whole life when you actually actively use that tool, because I do it, and I do it every day, all throughout my day. I make traffic disappear. I make my kids get dressed easily. I bring myself so much ease instantaneously, maybe like a few minutes of lag time to change. Like, oh, something occurring I don't want. Let me change my thought process. How am I feeling? What's going on? I'm causing this. How can I change it? And then rework how I'm thinking and feeling and vibrating. And it's life-changing. It is my life now. It's just like kind of how I flow with things, and it's fun. For me, it's the magic of life. It's the recognition that I'm a witch all the time. I'm not just a witch when I'm kneeling down at my altar, and I'm not just a witch when I'm, doing a ritual or focusing my mind on being a witch and doing witchy things or whatever that means, manifesting, I'm doing it all day, every day. I'm blasting people with love and light and sending certain vibrations and emotions over to certain things, obviously all positive stuff, and clearing away negative energy and cleansing things and bringing in new things. This is a constant for me. And it's beautiful. So it's like the law of cause and effect. It very much reminds me of, that we're all webbed together. We're all in this, we're all really woven into one another. And when we really get that on a really visceral level, experiential level, just sit with that and think about how everything, every speck of everything is so connected, you really see that there is a really powerful purpose for absolutely everything. Whether you've chosen by your ego standpoint to label things as good or bad, they all have a really powerful purpose in your life. All right, so with that said, let's get on to the tarot reading. So again, I am reading from the Shadowscapes Tarot. This is really, it's funny because it's kind of like fantasy art, and I'm not a fan regularly of fantasy art, but I love these cards. Love these cards, love the way they feel in my hands. I'm like obsessed with shuffling them because I'll just shuffle all day long because I just love shuffling these particular cards. But just know that whenever you're watching this, there is no date stamp. Now, we do, at the time that I am going to be posting this, when this is brand new, we do have a full moon, Aquarius full moon happening August 15th, around 8:30 Eastern time. But who's counting? Just kidding. I am, obviously. But if you're watching this at any time, there's no date stamp for this. So just take a moment to open yourself up to receive whatever message, or set the intention that you're going to receive, or ask a question, or whatever it may be. The Emperor. Oh, and the Six of Pentacles. Wow. Okay. So, I think that the Emperor is pretty self-explanatory. I already talked about having us, each and every one of us, being the ruler of our own lives. And this is your kingdom or your queendom, right? your life from your kaleidoscope, from your perspective, from where you're standing, and you get to choose where you stand. But your life is your kingdom. So I really feel like this is telling you to step, not to, okay, so it's not saying necessarily step into the ruler phase. I call this a ruler phase. Now I'm talking, this is my own stuff. So I have different phases that I teach people, and the very last phase, is where the soul meets the flesh, and it is the ruler phase. So that's why I said phase. But with that being said, it's not necessarily step into the emperor, step onto the throne, but it's more look at the places already existing in your life where you are queen or king, emperor, empress energy. Now the empress is a little bit different, but I'm just saying that for I don't know, to be gender inclusive. Okay, so there are spaces in your life, places in your life, areas of expertise that you already have where you can offer that to people, right? So you have a king in you already. You have an area of your life where there are people that need to hear what you have to say, right? Or there are ways to use the richness in that area. Maybe it's a richness of knowledge. Maybe it's a richness of actual physical riches. Maybe it's I have a spare bedroom to offer to somebody in a time of need, or, whatever it is. Maybe it doesn't matter. It's recognizing the fact that you have something and you are strong in your vibration in some area of your life that someone else that you could potentially help doesn't have. Right? Now, and what this guidance is asking you to do is to offer it from that place of the high vibrational version, right? From that king, emperor version of you. It's sort of saying, I am so strong in my vibrations in this area of my life that I can offer guidance to others. And I won't get kind of knocked off of my throne. I won't get knocked off of my pedestal. Now, there's not, and I don't want to say pedestal as in you're above other people. It's nothing like that. There's plenty of people who could seem like they have nothing, but they're very wealthy in their heart, right? They're very wealthy in love. And there's a lot that they could teach someone who is wealthy in money or wealthy in material possessions, but not wealthy in love, right? So my advice with this guidance would definitely be to write down a list of the areas in your life where you feel really sure about yourself, where you feel you are strong within your level of expertise, within your wealth of knowledge, your wealth of whatever. Where do you already feel like a king in your life, or in yourself, in your soul, maybe it's your spiritual practice, maybe it is witchcraft. Of course, this is Witch Baby Wednesday, so it probably isn't witchcraft for a lot of you, at least the newbies that are coming in. But there's somewhere, someplace, something that you are just really good at. Maybe it's something that that's just an innate ability that you have. Maybe it's just a natural talent. Maybe it's a whatever. Like maybe somebody's trying to manifest something and you just have it naturally. You don't have to try to manifest it because you just have it, right? Like you just have the thing that they want. Maybe you can offer advice. It could just be something as small as offering advice to a friend about like, oh, I just have an expectation, and this is what it feels like to have that thing, and this is what it feels like to be so sure about having that innate thing, whatever it is. But definitely I think listing some of the ways that you do feel like that king energy. Now, also in plain sight, that's kind of like general, but for some of you, this is actually going to mean that you are becoming the ruler, completely getting into that ruler phase. You are stepping up. You are getting onto your throne. You are grounded in your truth. You know who the F you are, and it is time to share the wealth. It is time to pour that out, to express that internal power, to offer that to others. Okay? And that is extremely powerful. But like I said, this is a very general reading, so I just wanted to cover all of my bases there. But that is a beautiful, beautiful reading. All right, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you got any ahas, if you want to talk about any further tips, you are more than welcome to comment down below. Now, I have not really been, I've been kind of avoiding my comment section because I've got some energy clearing that I need to do in the comments section. And I also think I'm going to be channeling some of that, the people that actually want to get closer and talk and, you know, have a deeper conversation with me. I'm going to be kind of reworking my business a little bit to give you guys a little bit more intimate space to connect with me. Now, for those of you that don't know, I do and always have had, or for a very long time have had, the Rock and Empath Facebook group. If you click down below, it's just hashtag Rock and Empath on Facebook. But Facebook's energy is super wonky nowadays, and so I'm just kind of looking for a community space where, an online community space where we can, those of you that want to connect a little bit deeper into this family here, can go to. You know, you can always go to DarianEmpire.com or go to find me on Instagram at DarianEmpire if you want to talk to me. But I'm pretty much like not really responding to a lot of the comments that I'm getting. Not even reading some of the comments. I'm trying to read some of them, but there's just like weird wonky energy in my comments section, and so I'm just avoiding it for right now. So that's what's going on. But yeah, I definitely want to have a deeper community where you guys can come. You can definitely join the Facebook group, but there's not a lot of action going on there. But there will be, because we just pulled the Emperor card and the Six of Pentacles. So I will definitely be owning my ish pretty soon, because I'm going to take that guidance for myself. All right, guys, I will see you next week. Bye.
Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to connect with me outside of YouTube, head on over to my Instagram to say hello, watch behind the scenes stuff, and check out any special announcements that I might have going on. Now, if you haven't already, head over and watch one of these awesome videos and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you on the next video, guys.
That's where my dreams come in and take me away to a better place where love is real and all my